Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about Jadon Sancho to Manchester United and all the latest news regarding this story. Now, some tier 1 journalists have come out in the last week and said some quite promising things regarding Sancho to Manchester United, and I want to cover all that in this video. I mean, there's been lots of reports about Sancho to Manchester United over the last few months, especially the last few weeks. I mean, there's lots of stories saying the deal is done, but they're from like tier 4 journalists, so we're not going to talk about any of that. We're only going to be talking about what people that are somewhat reliable have been saying about Jadon Sancho to Manchester United and why it looks quite promising. I'm going to be talking about what's said, what it might mean, and why it looks like Manchester United are going to win the race for Jadon Sancho, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But first things first, please hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share this video with your friends, so I'm going to get right to the point, keep this video short and sweet on the latest Jadon Sancho news. So we'll start with what Christian Falk said. He's pretty reliable when it comes to the Bundesliga. Now, he said a piece of information that doesn't really surprise me. He basically said that Dortmund will not sell Sancho unless they get a fee of 100 million euros. I mean, his exact words were, Borussia Dortmund see no reason to sell the player unless they get over 100 million euros. Now, obviously, he's got good connections with the Bundesliga, so Dortmund might have told him this to maybe, you know, save face, because I think Manchester United know that they can probably drive down the price, and that's exactly what Ed Woodward and Manchester United are going to do. Like with Bruno Fernandes, we'll do anything to drive down the price, and I think Borussia Dortmund are trying to tell reliable journalists that, you know, they won't sell unless they get 100 million euros, and I think that Borussia Dortmund, they do want 100 million euros, and they want to get as much as possible for Jadon Sancho, but because of the way the market is with the coronavirus pandemic, because of the fact that Sancho has 2 years left on their contract, they know that they might have to sell Sancho for less than 100 million euros. I think they're maybe saying this to try and save face, be like, well, we won't sell Sancho unless we get the money, maybe trying to get Manchester United to put a bid in there, maybe a higher bid in there. But I do think with Jadon Sancho, as much as this guy's pretty reliable, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. We know that Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. They're not the type of club to keep a player against his will. I think last summer they promised him a move this summer. We know that Manchester United will probably offer over £80 million to him. We know he's our #1 summer transfer target. I think Borussia Dortmund, you know, they're going to try and see if they can get 100 million for him, but I think they would settle below 100 million because they don't want to keep a player against his will. And he's got 2 years left on his contract, and next summer they might not even be able to get 100 million for him because he's got 1 year left on his contract. So I think that's not something we need to worry about too much. And at the end of the day, I think Manchester United do have the money to go all out for Jadon Sancho if we sign no one else, because we are a big club. Also, the fact that Borussia Dortmund have been looking really into Ferran Torres and a lot of other players kind of shows that they know Sancho's going to leave. They're just trying to, I think, look like they're in a stronger position than they're actually in. I've got another story that's come out of Germany from someone called Hiko Wasser. Now, I can't tell you if I've pronounced that right, but he's very close to Borussia Dortmund. He's got some close connections to Borussia Dortmund, and he said that basically Jadon Sancho did not start versus RB Leipzig because his head is already at Manchester United, and that Dortmund know his head's already at Manchester United, hinting that, you know, Sancho's ready to go to Manchester United, his head's at Manchester United. He's been on the bench a lot for Dortmund lately, maybe that's because he's focused on Manchester United over Borussia Dortmund, and I think Borussia Dortmund know that, and I think that's why they're trying to say, oh, we won't sell unless we got over 100 million for him, because I think Manchester United know that Sancho wants to come, and Borussia Dortmund are probably in the weaker position of the two of us. You know, we can negotiate for maybe a lower price because, you know, Borussia Dortmund knows Sancho's head's not there, so maybe that's why Borussia Dortmund are trying to come out and say, oh, we have no reason to sell Sancho unless we get 100 million pounds. And another bit of information from a tier 1 journalist, which is Fabrizo Romano, the top tier as it comes journalist. Now, I talked about this briefly a few days ago, but Fabrizo Romano basically said if Manchester United make an offer for Jadon Sancho, he will come, confirming Jadon Sancho wants to come to Manchester United. We've had talks with Jadon Sancho, we know that. However, Manchester United and Dortmund have not agreed on a price yet. Manchester United have not put a bid in yet, and that Manchester United and Dortmund are far apart on negotiating a deal for Jadon Sancho. However, Manchester United and Dortmund are still some way apart on agreeing a price for Jadon Sancho. So basically, Fabrizo Romano and all the other information basically sums up that Jadon Sancho wants to come to Manchester United. However, Dortmund want to see if they can get 100 million for Jadon Sancho and going to try and hold out for a price. Now, the thing about Manchester United is we want to spend as little as possible on Sancho, see if we can get the cheapest deal for him, negotiate the cheapest deal, like we did with Bruno Fernandes. So I expect Jadon Sancho to come to Manchester United, but I think it's going to take some time, especially if Dortmund want to hold out for a price, but we want to go in for a cheaper price, and we're the only club really strongly in for Jadon Sancho, so I think we can do that. And I think, you know, this deal's going to drag on a long time. I think when Manchester United do put a bid in for Jadon Sancho. Borussia Dortmund will probably reject the first bid, and you know, it will go on for a long time, but I do think Jadon Sancho will join Manchester United. It looks very likely that he will join Manchester United. I think it's just going to be a long process with, you know, negotiating a price, because Dortmund, they want to hold out, and Manchester United, we spent like 8 weeks trying to get a deal done. With Bruno Fernandes, we dragged it on the whole January window trying to get him for 5 million less, and then we ended up paying the extra 5 million. So we know that Manchester United are going to try and negotiate Sancho for cheaper, and Dortmund are going to try and hold out for 100 million euros. So I think this deal could drag on for a while, but I think once it's done, Sancho will agree to come to Manchester United. I'm getting that kind of information from Fabrizo Romano that, you know, once Manchester United and Dortmund agree on a price, Sancho will most likely come to Manchester United. He wants to come to Manchester United, and I think that's what it's all about, the Manchester United and Jadon Sancho story. It's just going to be dragging on for a while, but it looks like it will happen. It's just going to be maybe like with Bruno Fernandes, like with Paul Pogba, where it's reported for ages and ages and ages. It just takes Manchester United time to get a deal done, because we know we're not the most efficient club in the transfer market. We are run a little bit like a business, which is a little bit unfortunate. But let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on all the Jadon Sancho news. Do you think Jadon Sancho will become a Manchester United player? And if you have not already, please hit that like button, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football, share this video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. I'm also going to be releasing my predicted lineup for the Sheffield United game this week, so stay tuned for that. See ya.